With an estimated population of over 200 million, Nigeria is by far the most populous country in Africa and the world's sixth most populous country. This vast West African nation also stands out as the largest economy in Africa, boasting an abundance of human and material resources. According to World Bank data, approximately 80 million people lack access to electricity. Energy poverty is even more severe in rural areas, where the majority of the population resides. There is an urgent need to address this power problem. In 2018, the federal government of Nigeria secured financing from the World Bank and the African Development Bank to implement the Nigeria Electrification Project NEP, led by the Rural Electrification Agency, REA. Despite being a government initiative, NEP is private sector driven, aiming to bridge the energy access deficit by providing electricity to households, micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises, as well as educational and health facilities.
In 2017, the federal government of Nigeria signed a multilateral agreement with the World Bank and a few years later with the African Development Bank. The World Bank provided a loan of $350 million, while the African Development Bank provided a loan of $200 million. This loan was then passed through to REA through a subsidiary agreement where the REA has been able to design a program called the Nigerian Electrification Project, which essentially means that they look at the objectives of the agency for providing for unserved and underserved Nigerians. And this money was given as a loan to the Nigerian government. However, it was converted to a grant to enable the agency work with developers.
To facilitate the implementation of the project, a project management unit, PMU, was established and is divided into 5 components: solar hybrid mini-grids for economic development, standalone solar systems for homes and MSMEs, energizing education program, energy-efficient productive use appliances, and equipment and technical assistance.
The main objective of the Nigeria Electrification Project, popularly called NEP, is to create access of electricity to areas that are not served completely or they are underserved, and also to incentivize the private sector to bring in debt and equity in development of the ecosystem that it's channeled towards the provision of electricity to these particular areas.
The mini-grid for rural economic development component of the NEP was entrusted with providing clean, safe, reliable and affordable electricity to unserved and underserved communities.
Under the performance-based grants, we're proud to say that we've commissioned 110 mini-grids with a total PV capacity of 6 megawatts, directly impacting 280,000 Nigerians. And we see this evidently on ground through less people moving out of their communities to urban areas now that there's reliable and more people moving back into it, so increasing population in these communities. We're also seeing improvements in local enterprises with people that used 4 generators now being able to use consistent power, and also increase in local enterprises as well.
Recently, in collaboration with PowerGen Nigeria Limited and Abuja Electricity Distribution PLC AEDC, NEP commissioned the project's first interconnected solar hybrid mini-grid in Toto Community, Nasarawa State. This pioneering 352 kilowatt power solar hybrid mini-grid project is designed to provide reliable and renewable electricity to over 2,000 households, 141 commercial users, 18 productive users, and 45 public users.
We've been enjoying lights as in full voltage, uninterrupted power supply.
Really, there is a difference because the power gen make things easier for us. Instead of us owning gen here, wasting money, buying fuel, this power gen make things easier because fuel is cost now. But now, the way if you recharge 500 naira, we can on our fridge in maybe around 10 till daybreak, around 6 like that. But we cannot buy fuel of 500 and make use of it for those hours.
When I recharge or subscribe, like 3-5 units, it can take me up to 3 days or something like that. at least it's really helping seriously.
The solar hybrid mini-grid component also had a significant impact on the health sector through the COVID-19 and Beyond initiative. This was achieved by supplying clean, reliable and sustainable power to 100 isolation or treatment centers and 400 primary healthcare centers across the country.
Now, post-COVID, what we have done is we have repurposed this power supply. What we did was to cover areas like the obstetric theater. So now we're not troubled by, okay, there's power outage. We don't need to necessarily put on the diesel generator to power the theater, the obstetric theater. That's where we have all the cesarean sections, and a lot of these emergencies come.
In those days, when you have a patient that needs oxygen therapy, believe me, before you administer that oxygen to the patient, it will take time, because we used to go helter-skelter looking for generator to fuel the generator and come and on the generator so that the patient can get this oxygen therapy. But now there is light, and this light is for 24 hours. So at any given time, we have such kind of patient. What we need to do is to use our concentrator and connect oxygen to that patient. And believe me, before you know, within a short period of time, the patient is better. But in those days, before you administer that oxygen, it will take you time, and the condition of the patient may likely deteriorate. It can even lead to the death of the patient.
The mortalities we used to incur then, because there was no light, like in 2018, if you check the assessment just for the period of 6 months, 2018, January to June, there was about 38 women that died during pregnancy or after delivery, and most of the challenges were linked to issue of light, and more than 300 babies died. About 305 babies died because of that. So telling you that in each month as of then, about 6 women, not less than 6 women, some of them are young, in their 20s, some in their 30s, just dying because of pregnancy issues, that you needed light to help you to manage them. But sometimes if you refer them, they will not go. In fact, we had people that said they don't have money. If you refer them, they will say they will not go anywhere, that we should do whatever they will do. So sometimes you find your hands were very tired as of then. But all these issues are almost bygone issues.
Mostly in the ward, we have some people coming into the ward picking phones, and then some items of the patient related during the night. But with the coming of the solar, the problem has been solved.
State Specialist Hospital, I can't remember, I think it was more than 2 years that they owned the gen for the hospital to give us light. So all we have been relying on is the solar.
For the COVID-19 and beyond, we're able to deploy 58 containerized systems to 58 hospitals across the country. And initially it was targeted at isolation and treatment centers, but we've seen since hospitals expand to centers such as the dialysis center, emergency units, maternity wards, critical wards that need power and consistent power. And till date, we also seen a reduction in operational costs. So this helps free up money for other parts of hospitals for maintenance, and just an overall improvement in effective servicing. So happy doctors means happy patients.
Through the solar home systems, which are designed to offer a more viable electricity alternative for hard-to-reach areas, over 1,450,000 households and micro, small and medium enterprises have been reached, benefiting approximately 5 million people across the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria.
This community is a Laosho. We have discovered that this community has been for many years without having light, without having electricity.
Imola community are predominantly farmers. We have recently just developed a 123 kilowatts solar mini grid.
The time where we say I dey use petrol, carry bike go town go buy petrol. But now where we say I don't collect solar, anytime where I like, I'll just on and walk. I'll feel walk till 6 o'clock. Solar day, nothing do am. I dey use am.
We enjoying it, not be small. This rural area, nothing like light. But now, when this light come now, we enjoying it, not be small things. We have a television, we have anything to charge our phone, to do anything when we want to do. We're free to do it. We enjoying it, not be small thing.
16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Very good of you. My hope to this school in the future is that I want to bring a computer. So we are intention to have computer here. So far we have already got a light. So in future I want my school to have a computer so that I'll be using it to teach my children.
Unlike this church, we are using like, let me say 4,000 to 5,000 in a week because we do observe program every day here in our church. But ever since we have gotten this light, the very last time that we loaded 2,000 naira, it served us like 1 month. So the margin is much.
We have almost 10 communities that we have give this mini grid. We have 10 communities.
We've lost over close to 100 panels. Close to 100 panels when we're moving them here. And damages in terms of breakage, in terms of haulage, moving them from one place to the other.
As a result of the solar mini grid we've installed in this community, it's going to give them the possibility of going into agro-processing of the crops. For instance, the cocoa can be dried faster now in whatever weather and ensure they can get this cocoa at a good quality to the end user.
The Energizing Education Program is designed to provide reliable power supply to federal universities in Nigeria. This program will not only enhance the quality of education by powering classrooms, libraries, and laboratories, but also support digital learning and extend educational hours. In addition, the EEP will provide street lights for improved safety on campus, as well as establish a world-class renewable energy workshop and training center in each beneficiary institution. The EEP, in its second and third phases, will extend access to reliable power to 15 federal universities and 3 associated teaching hospitals across Nigeria.
So the Energizing Education program basically is a continuation of previous phases. So we have the entry phase 1 and we have the entry phase 2. We now have the entry phase 3. It's in financed by the Aspers and Development 25 AF3B.
The EEP phase 2 would impact on 7 federal universities across the 6 geopolitical zones. It will impact on 153,000 plus students. It will deploy 1,500 street lights for greater illumination and greater security to provide more conducive learning environments.
If this issue of solar installation bring in our university, that is the University of Maiduguri, so a lot of students will find their life very easy to attain to the contentment of their education, of their studies, of their learning vacuum in the University of Maiduguri.
Well, I think
And I believe that when this project is completed, I believe that light will be available on campus, thereby easing the stress of students going to commercial to charge their phones. And some final year students have to use their laptops, but because there is no light, they will be paying huge amounts of money to charge their laptops. So I believe once this project is implemented, it's going to go a long way to help solve these problems that we are facing on campus currently.
We have 3 categories of people that are going to enjoy or benefit. One is the students, which is the primary reason the university itself was created. We have over 50,000 students in this university. The second category is the lecturers and other staff, because with the students on ground and nobody to teach them also is a challenge. So as the university is created in order to teach students, there are lecturers to also teach them. There are other supporting staff to ensure that the facility as provided by the university are being maintained. The staff quarters is a place where after staff have carried out their work, will go back and relax with their family. Power is also critical. When they have adequate power supply, it means they will also be in a good state of mind. So these are category of people that will benefit from this.
This construction is actually meant to provide power for the University of Maiduguri and then the teaching hospital. It is basically area and then any project where it was targeted to provide 12 megawatts of clean renewable energy for the university.
We are to install 288 street lights in this school that will lighten up the university environment in the night, where students can work and read their books anytime they want to go out and buy things, and also do a lot of night activity.
You cannot do any project on artificial intelligence without power. You can't run mechatronic work without power. Even in my own field of food science and technology, every equipment requires power, from the mills to the canners to the packagers and whatever you can think about. The processing lines and all that, they require power, you know. So that is the situation. Our bread factory there that we just started this period requires power. Water factory requires power. So the earlier we have our own energy source, the more productive we become and the more committed we are to the nation in terms of development and all that.
Believe you me, the academic staff don't think of much other than their research, their teaching, and that depends entirely on the supply of electricity. Whether the person is in social sciences, or is in arts, the humanities, or he is in the science-based, faculties. We need constant supply of electricity. And it's a good thing that the government has taken it upon itself to energize tertiary education, because truly, without energizing the tertiary education, we're not going to get anywhere. We have been going backward. It will come to a point where the universities will collapse, or any other tertiary institution for that matter. Without the constant supply of electricity, we'll come to a point where we can do nothing at all.
As part of RAE's commitment to gender diversity, the STEM internship program has been developed to provide hands-on training to 20 selected female STEM students in each beneficiary institution.
So we are here on site to learn more about solar panel installation. Most of the things that we've been taught in class are just virtual stuff, theory, but here we have the practical aspects here that we can see, do ourselves.
I've learned a lot. Before this program, I couldn't identify different types of inverters, different types of solar panels, different types of chargers and charge controllers. But now I'm able to identify them, and this has helped me so far.
The energy-efficient productive use of appliances and equipment (PUE) component of the NEP aims to enhance the productive use of energy in remote communities by increasing access to efficient electric productive equipment. This objective is achieved through a results-based financing scheme that incentivizes energy access companies to include the distribution of energy-efficient productive use equipment and appliances in their operations. This objective is achieved through a results-based financing scheme that incentivizes energy access companies to include the distribution of energy-efficient productive use equipment and appliances in their operations. The component also serves to stimulate the productive use appliance market and acts as a critical enabler for mini-grid viability and socio-economic development in rural communities. These energy-efficient productive appliances and equipment include grinding machines, solar cold storage, welding machines, palm oil processors, industry sewing machines, among others. They can be deployed using various business models, such as lease-to-own and owner or operator models. A base subsidy of 30% is available, and it can increase to 60% if specific parameters related to gender, vulnerability, and scalability are met. Community is not burdened or threatened.
This window is being funded to the tune of 28 million USD, and it seeks to deploy about 22,000 productive use equipments across the country by giving subsidies to energy access companies for the deployment.
My children, they cannot sleep without fan. So even if there is no that thing, this fan must be charged. If you don't on it, they will not sleep. So that means that I will have to be fanning them, you understand now, all through the night. So because we have been time, but we have been buying those small fans. And that one, it will only work for some hours, after which it will go off. But this one, once it is properly charged, I don't have any problem. They go to bed, they carry the fan. So at least I'm relieved.
Dalilin sawa dai ya gani a gidan abokin shi ne, shi ma kuma sai ya bashi sha'awan ganin da ya sayi janareto tun daga sauki ba ruwan shi da shan mai. Shi ya sa shi ma sai ya samu shi ma haka mishi hanyar da ya samu kenan ya sa. To bayan ya sa kuma tun da muka ɗanɗana muka tuna da sai ba fatan komawa ruwa. Idan kuɗi har ta kare ba sa ba gaskiya akwai matsala. Don na ga ma iya haƙuri da tuwo a saka mana haske.
Before solar light come, we be dey use torch. The difference of the solar with the torch, slake be dey for the environment. So for now, when the solar come, if the light dey shine for night, all those slake and whatever dey waka for night, dey give chance.
Gaskiya yanzu ina samun riba sosai don bana saya itace. Kuma abun lokacin da ina amfani da itace hayaki na damun idanuna. Amma yanzu tun da na fara amfani da tukunya nan ba zancen hayaki kuma idanun ma baya damuna kuma.
So the NEP started with a target to reach 340,000 households and MSMEs. And right now, I'm happy to say we have reached over 1 million households, to be precise, 1.4 million households and MSMEs. And that's impacting over 7 million Nigerians. So yes, we can give ourselves a pass mark. And yes, it's doing what we wanted it to do. We've exceeded what we wanted to do, but there's still obviously areas that we still need to get to.
These 4 components of the National Electrification Project reveal the strategy of the project to touch lives in different spheres of Nigerian life: health education, economic development, support to MSMEs, the environment, families. The list seems endless. So, how much impact has the project made?
Essentially, beyond providing electricity to rural homes, we are now deviating from electricity just for leisure to more productive use. This is a predominantly farming community, so this would mean an improvement in agro activities.
As you can see, there's a lot of work to be done. We continue to do these interventions, but as our slogan suggests, we electrify one community at a time, and we have a database of these communities within the rural electrification database that we have within the central data management system that we have in the Federal Ministry of Power. And we know that these communities are available and we know where these people are. So we continue to work with the developers, provide the developers with the necessary support through the subsidies and grants for the Nigerian Electrification Project with the Rural Electrification Fund, and we continue to demonstrate within the capital projects as we have done.
Currently, for the EEP Phase 3, we are at the final phases of procurement of the EPC contracting entities that will be deploying these power plants across these installations. And we hope that by the end of 2025, all of the captive plants will have been completely installed and would have started different phases of the operations and maintenance legs of the contracts.
Based on the success we recorded under NEP, the federal government of Nigeria designed a scale-up project, which is called DES, that is Distributed Access Through Renewable Energy Scale-up. DES leverage on the success of NEP and also look at certain areas that requires for scale-up in order to ensure maximum impact of our achievement. Specifically, this leverage on output-based fund, the success that we recorded on that, the performance-based grant, the success also we recorded on that, and also looked at scaling up aspect of interconnected mini-grid, productive use of equipment, and the utilization of minimum subsidy tender as a procurement process.